Welcome to Unmasking Motherhood. I'm Beth Moore, and this is your go-to podcast for navigating motherhood with authenticity and vitality. Through real stories and honest conversations, you'll find the support, insight, and reassurance you need without the guilt or pressure to be perfect. So, take a deep breath, Mama. You're not alone. Let's dive in.
Hello, everybody. I'm so happy to be back here with you. Today is a solo episode on the Unmasking Motherhood podcast. And I have a fun teaching, a resource, a tool. I guess I should say a tool feels most appropriate that I'm going to share with you at the end. But before I do that, I want to do something a little bit different and share a bit of my story with you. So let's jump in. Ever since I was a young girl, I was just acutely aware, if you want to even say like sensitive to the fact that not enough people are heard and seen. So many of us walk around feeling unseen and unheard. And maybe my awareness started because I felt kind of like an outsider within my own family. And no, they did not intentionally mean to do that. It's just how my experience felt. And I came to learn, I came to know that humans need to be witnessed. We need to feel like our stories, our struggles, our experiences matter. And we don't have that. It deeply takes a toll. And so looking back, I can see how this awareness, this experience from my childhood shaped me. I was the person that people always have confided in, the one that was asking deep questions, the one who's always here for the truth. And long before I even knew what coaching was, I had this running joke with myself that if I could just get paid to sit with people over coffee and hear their stories, like that would be my dream job. I love hearing people talk, getting curious, digging in. It's never felt like work. It just felt like what I'm here to do. And if you want to just like fast forward into motherhood, something I never planned for my life, maybe it was because my rebellious nature was like, everyone's doing it, so I'm not. Or the fact that the stories, the pictures painted for me were just so negative from experiences I would hear from friends and family, from media. Like it just didn't seem like something I was going to enjoy. And I think we do such a disservice, by the way, with the way we present it. So you'll hear a little bit more about my heart for that now in a minute. But let's be real. Motherhood began the year I started my coaching business. And at the time, when I started my coaching business in 2018, my initial intention was to help women live in alignment with themselves, as in their values, their unique expression, to really practice self compassion. I have a longstanding history of self hate and depression, and just radical self kindness has changed my life. And also helping women just shed those expectations in their life of who they're supposed to be and give them permission slips to be authentic themselves and set boundaries. Like that was my core of what my work began with. And then I got pregnant halfway through my first year in my business. And of course, that flipped everything upside down. Um, Motherhood just shifted my focus, and I started seeing with a new level of clarity just how much moms needed support and we're really lacking like real, genuine support, not just little hacks or a self care checklist. We need the support that reminds you that you matter outside of being a mom. That you're not failing on the days that it's hard, you don't know what to do, and that it's actually allowed. You're allowed to take up space. So, what did I do? I built spaces where that kind of support is the foundation. For example, this podcast, it's where I share those real, raw motherhood stories because storytelling connects us. It reminds us we're not alone, and it helps us drop the judgment for other people, which if you're living in this is 2025 when I'm recording this. You know how our world is. It's so polarized, black and white. You believe in this, you do this, like, oh, I can't be friends with you. It's so we're quick to cut each other off. And so one of the aims of this podcast is to bring us together. It's so easy to assume another mom has it all together by the way she looks or presents herself or just your own judgments, right? or to like criticize her parenting choices when you don't know her story. But when we take the time to listen, we realize we're all doing the best we can. Another thing I started when I was living in Las Vegas that was so fun was the Imperfect Moms Club. And it was a space where monthly meetups for moms where we can gather in person without our kids, share experiences, build genuine connections, no pretending. You do not have to have it all together, hence the name, and just have conversations with people who get it. We centered personal growth, celebrating motherhood, leaving inspired and uplifted, and having a damn good time because let's be honest, parenting is hard work, life is crazy, and we deserve to have fun. So, shameless plug that is coming soon to St. Louis. If you are listening to this at the time it's released, yeah, it's coming soon. So stay tuned. I'll leave a link in the show notes to join our wait list. So yeah, I would love to have some of our St. Louis moms listening as part of the club. So here's what I know for sure. When moms are supported, everything changes. Mothers, we're the heartbeat of families, communities, society. We set the tone. And yet, we're so often expected to sacrifice our well being for the sake of everyone else. And that has to change. We need to take better care of our mothers. We need to create spaces where they feel safe, valued, and seen. And that's what I'm here to help create. Because when moms rise, families thrive. And when families thrive, the world shifts. Do you see that ripple effect? I am a firm believer in the power of the ripple effect, and it starts here. And with that part of my story, where I'm going to transition into today's topic, which is connecting with your motherhood magic. This is something I've just been practicing on my own since 2018 when I became a mom. And I just felt like this whole other part of my brain, my essence, like came online and also came back online. And I'll share more of what that looked like in a minute. Um, but this topic I actually shared in a group coaching program I ran the end of last year. And I just kind of impromptu brought it up, and the women really seemed to connect with the topic. So I thought, you know what? I need to speak to this in another capacity. And so here we are today. I want to open with this quote from one of my favorite teachers on conscious parenting. She wrote the book, The Awakened Family, and the book, The Conscious Parenting. And her name is Dr. Shafali. The quote is to connect with your child, awaken the spirit within yourself. Did you catch that? It's like, okay, yeah, you want to grow closer to your child, but first, connect within, awaken your own spirit. So, what does this have to do with the topic today? I know that so many of you go through seasons of feeling disconnected from your child for a number of reasons. Maybe you're just struggling through a rough patch. Or maybe, discipline or cooperation is downhill. Your child's going through their own struggles. And so if that's happening, you might be missing this simple but powerful tool, and I want to help you find it again. Let me tell you this. Motherhood isn't just about raising kids, and this leads into the topic. What if it's actually an invitation to step into the most authentic version of you? It's not just about giving. There's a lot of that, and it's beautiful, but it's also about our becoming, our own becoming. Every knows that it calls you forward in your own journey. Whether you're ready or not, you're going to be tested. And it encourages you to come alive in a way you may never have experienced before. That's the part that I feel like I wish more moms talked about because, as you know, wasn't planning on motherhood as part of my life's journey. And I'm so glad that, it happened. Good gracious. It's exactly what I needed. It was a huge blessing. But, I might have been more open had women presented both sides of the coin. Yes, not everything is rainbows and butterflies, but no one talked about the awakening within yourself that can happen, the spiritual growth that happens, the way it just like rewires your brain, your life, your values. It can for the better, should you choose to see it that way. So, yeah. And so whenever we're feeling stuck, drained, disconnected, it's often because we've lost touch with our motherhood magic. That's the coin. I say things wrong. That is the term that I've coined, your motherhood magic. It's fun, right? That's your unique energy that makes us who we are and allows us to show up fully for our kids. I'm going to say that again because it's really powerful yet simple. Your motherhood magic, and I'll dive into like examples, is the unique energy that makes us who we are and allows us to show up fully for our kids. So, how do we connect with or reconnect with that magic? And let me guess, that some of you, most of you, have already done this in ways and not even realized it. One of my favorite ways is to connect with my own joy first. Let's go back to that quote too. To connect with your child, awaken the spirit within yourself. Okay, think about joy. Like what brings you to life? What lights you up? That's a way to connect with your spirit. One of the quickest ways to do this is like, what did you love doing as a kid? Was it puzzles? Was it riding your bike? Think about things that lit you up. One of my favorite things to do as a kid was to ride my bike through my neighborhood. And how cool is this? A library was connected to our neighborhood growing up. And so I brought my backpack, filled it with like Nancy Drews and Judy Blooms, and then rode back and would walk around the house reading the books, literally like Belle from Beauty and the Beast with my nose stuck in a book. And I also am slightly like theatrical. And as a kid, I was always like bossing people around to put on plays, telling them what to do and like dancing around, making up skits and things. And so when I reconnect with that energy, that essence, maybe I'm not telling my children to like how to be in a play, the house, maybe I am, I don't know. But when I'm reading to them and like reading out loud and really getting into character, when I go that extra, mile, that extra shift to do those things in our everyday life, like things I'm already doing. This is not about adding more things to your plate. Okay, hear me there. It's about turning it on, your essence, your magic, your joy in the daily, incorporating it, bringing it back to life. Your energy shifts because you feel alive. You're lit up and your kids feel that too. It invites a whole different type of lightness and play into the daily monotony, or for some of us, the hustle of life with kids. Let me share another one. One way to connect with your motherhood magic, another superpower I like to say, is to lean into your strengths. I know some of you are naturally creative. Some of you are really organized. Some of you are so playful and goofy at heart. Okay, how can you take those strengths into how you show up for your kids? When you radiate your authentic self, which is truly leaning into those gifts, your children feel that energy and are drawn to it. Another one, which is universal to us all. And gosh, I can't think of a mom who hasn't said that this is important to her. Practicing presence. I'm talking about like genuine presence, being fully with your child in the moment, not just scrolling our phones or thinking about a conversation or work. And again, let me just say this is not about perfection when it comes to presence. Even if it's like little moments throughout the day where you're actively aware of being tuned in the moment with your child, like connecting with the senses, really seeing them, taking them in. I mean, honestly, it's kind of like oxytocin, like free oxytocin. Who doesn't want more of that? When you're really with your baby, with your child, with your teenager, and you're not focused on anything else, present moment awareness creates deep bonds and connection, which in turn, hello, win. This invites more cooperation and understanding in your relationship with your kids. And this is universal to all ages too. Whether you have a toddler, or you have a 17-year-old, when they feel connected to you, when they feel the shift in your energy, you're going to want to work together with you, right? So that in of itself might be like a reason enough, depending on what's going on in your parenting journey, to start practicing that. So this is all about tapping into your own magic, right? Maybe for you, it's reading aloud to your kids like me. Maybe it's through goofiness or you know what? One of the ways that I love to connect with my kids is through my own childlike wonder and spirit and like zest for life. So I'll just like lay on the ground and like look at a blade of grass and then I might see like a little ant crawling around. I'm like, look at that. You know how kids are. They're like, whoa. Or maybe if you have older kids, they haven't paid attention to those things in a few years because they're starting to like forget and you bring them back and help them remember. I know you've got something or many things. So, whatever it is, let that be what draws you in initially to practicing this. And then I have a feeling you're going to find other things that come to life. And it's like you can incorporate it into cooking. You know, if you're just good at like vocals and or like to blast the music, how can you cook? And like maybe your kids aren't necessarily helping, maybe they do, but you're just like playing fun music and dancing around and like feeling it. They feel that energy. They want to be around it. Another quote by Dr. Shafali is your truest power emerges when you listen to your own heart first. I'm going to say it again. Your truest power emerges when you listen to your own heart first. So, keeping that in mind, now I want you to take a moment right now. Choose one thing that makes you feel more you, whether it's dancing in the kitchen, painting, or playing your favorite music, and intentionally bring that energy, not just an action, like the energy behind it, into a moment with your child. See how it shifts your connection. I want you to try this out for a week and let me know how it goes. Seriously, I want to know by tagging me on Instagram. My handle is going to be in the show notes or commenting here, depending on the platform that you're listening to. I'd love to hear how this unfolds for you. And if this episode hit home and you're craving more support, my books are open for one on one coaching. Whether you need a clarity kickstart, a single session to just reset, refocus, and clear the mental clutter, or you're ready to reclaim a new motherhood journey with deeper, lasting shifts, I'm here to help you navigate motherhood with more ease and confidence. You don't have to figure it out all alone. Until next time, Mama, keep leaning into your motherhood magic. You've got this.